So what are some wrong reasons to start a homeschool?
I want power over my children. That's the first one.
Fun or profit?
I mean, the main one is you're doing it for your own ego. You're doing it for your own, to say, look at how wonderful my children are, rather than saying, what do I desire for my children? I think that's probably, and I have seen people at homeschool so that they can go, look at how wonderful my homeschooled children are. Well, that's not a good reason. It has to not be self-centered in the end, is what the reasons have to be based on. They have to be based on the idea, I actually think this will be better for my child. And it's not hard to make it better for your child, but if you're just making it better for you, in the end, it's not going to go that far.
There's a bunch of reasons that that may not be bad reasons in and of themselves, but if they were the primary reason, would be a bad reason. If you think, hey, I'm going to homeschool my kids because colleges like homeschoolers, I don't think that's a great reason to homeschool as a primary reason. But I don't think it's a bad reason to say, hey, I think if I homeschool my kid, they have a better chance to get into a college or get a scholarship. Yeah, there's nothing immoral about that by any means. But it doesn't seem like it's the sort of thing where you say, I really want what's best for my child. I want what's best for my country. I want what's best for my relationship with my child. I want what's best for taking this child who I brought into the world and I've got a whole lot of responsibility for, and then I'm going to cut loose someday. Hopefully. They're not living in my basement. And I want that child to be in a better place, and I want the world to be better because of that. And those have to be among really significant reasons for why you're homeschooling, or homeschooling is just going to be pain.
That's what I was going to say. Some of those other reasons to say they're going to get into a better school, that's not even necessarily a bad reason. It's just that it's probably not a reason that will carry you through difficult times. And there will be difficult times in homeschooling. And so if you don't have a reason that's strong enough to carry you through the hard times, then in the end, it's not going to work too well. So even though, hey, if you get a better school, if that's what you think is the biggest goal in life for your children, but it's not going to carry you through the tough times very well.
I mean, it's a really interesting question, because right now, a lot of people who are homeschooling for the first time, very likely a bunch of people who are attending, listening here, are homeschooling because of reasons that they had no control over. Because they can't go to regular school, and for whatever reason, the distance learning that's being offered is not good for them and their family. And so they're coming to homeschooling, and they're starting homeschooling not really for reasons. And so now you have the opportunity to say, I need some, and I say that from experience because that's how I was homeschooled originally. I was in a traditional school until 4th grade. Our family had moved to a new location, and we ended up at a really bad school. And my parents just said, this is bad, this is no good, we're going to take you out and homeschool you for the rest of the academic year. So they did that, and it was only later that they came to, we have real convictions for why we want to homeschool. And so my younger brothers were homeschooled for different reasons than I was, and I'm homeschooling my children for different reasons than my parents initially homeschooled me for. And people who are entertaining the idea of homeschooling right now are doing it not really knowing why we should do this, just I have to do this. And so it's more a question of, if you think you want to stick with this after coronavirus is done, after schools reopen, you need to be thinking now about the reasons that you want to be sticking with it.
And I will say this, that, being a homeschool group leader for a long time, or for 6 years or whatever it was, one of the main reasons, typically what happens when people start homeschooling is there is something that happens, right? Their teacher hates their child for some reason. And so they go, I'm pulling my child out, and so, I guess I don't have any choice but to homeschool. The school was shut down because of the coronavirus. I guess I don't have any reason but to homeschool. My child goes to that class and he gets beaten up by this bully in the class all the time, and the school won't do anything about it. I'm going to homeschool, etc. There's this boy in this class that's interested in my daughter, and he keeps doing things and the school won't stop it. I'm going to pull. A lot of times that the reason that people start homeschooling is because they run into a situation that they find intolerable. But the reality is is to be able to persevere for the long term, you need more of a basis from that. That's a basis to start. The reason we started homeschooling was because my wife and my oldest son were not getting along well when he was 3, and if we didn't put some structure in their day, it was going to go badly. So we put structure in their day, so she started to teach him how to read, and then we, like you, went, well, of course this is the only way we should be doing it.